Hey everybody, this is Adam with Shield Solutions coming today to talk to you about the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9, the original, right? So this one's been around for a long time. I'm going to get this Molly car safe out of the way. If you're interested in this safe, I'll link the video in the description or somewhere here or here. You know how that works. Anyways, let me move this safe out of the way. All right, so we have a magazine here, nothing in the mag. Nothing in the gun, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag well. We're clear, safe, and empty. We talked about already. You will notice this has a different slide plate than the original. It has a little mermaid, kind of hard to see, right? My wife loves mermaids. Bastion made that custom, and I bought it and ordered from them. So if you're ever looking for something that they don't have, send them an email. They might be able to do it for you and kind of tell you what they can do it for. So getting into a couple of things with the M&P Shield 9. So this gun's been around for a long time. I'm recording this in 2005. So, wow, sorry, 2025. So this gun's been around for a long time. This is probably one of the first single stack 9s that were big on the market. You had this one and the Glock 43X coming around at the same time that were both in the striker fired community. There were others, but these were the leaders for a long time. This is my wife's pistol right here. So we'll get into a couple of things. Like I said, we already safety checked that. So one thing, when you bought this gun back then, it usually came with a flush fit mag, so a mag that stopped right down here, which was a 7-rounder, and then you had the 8-round option here as well. So you can see with the extended mag in there, you get that pinky on the pinky rest here, and it has kind of like a little sleeve or a collar, which helps give that separation some fill, if you will, right? So they do have a lot of different variants of the M&P shields out now. You have the Shield Plus, you have the Shield, my brain's not working right now, the Performance Center shields. You have some that have a chambered round indicator that bows up. You have some with a little chambered round indicator peephole right here. You can get it usually with a manual safety or without a manual safety. All kinds of things to think about there too. It is a polymer or plastic frame. You have a nice, you have a good slide there. You have little scallop serrations here to help sort of assist with getting your sweaty hand on a place to rack it. You can get options now with night sights. This is their little 3-dot system. Really nice, good visibility sights here. 3.1 inch barrel length on there. Weight of about 19 ounces. And then a overall length of 6.1 inches, and it's getting 19 ounces unloaded. So kind of going through a couple of things with this gun here. So one thing you notice is on the trigger, look at this little back piece right here. So that, you see we have like a hinged 2-piece trigger. So as the bottom of this trigger is pressed, you can see that hinge comes in. So if something were to brush the side of this, the top of this, it was helped to prevent it from, unintentionally discharging. You actually kind of had a purposefully like hit your pad of your finger on the trigger, press it back, boom, right? So again, a great pistol. There are things now that are smaller than this that hold more rounds. But this was one of the leaders on the market. So if you find a gun like this, still a great option to go with. I'm going to give you a bunch of my opinions now on some of this. So this, having the option of a manual safety on a striker fired system like this, right? So what I tell people is if a manual safety is something that you think that you would want for your gun, then get the one with the manual safety, because you can always choose on this type of gun, on a striker fired system like this, I can choose to not use that safety. I can just keep it in the, this position, because I don't trust my safety to keep my gun safe, right? I keep my brain and I keep my hands and I keep myself to trust to keep this gun safe. If I have the manual safety engaged, some people, I don't want to say they get careless about it, but they're like, oh, it's okay, it's unsafe. There are guns like a single action only platform where a manual safety is important in the way that you carry that gun. But for this gun, the manual safety is not as important. But if you want a manual safety, especially if you're newer into this, get one that has the manual safety. But what I do really emphasize, carry chambered, one in the chamber. So this would be 8 plus 1, so 9 rounds total when this thing's ready to go. And then when I go to the range and you get to the range and you put your range ammunition in and you rack that one into place, right? And then you put your last one in there. And you have your manual safety, so as best as you can. So if you can find a range that lets you go from the holster, man, even better. A lot of them don't let you do that. But make turning off this safety part of your firing routine. So as I come and I'm drawing from the holster as it's coming up across my body, manual safety off, boom, 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 how many ever rounds. And if I'm reholstering, manual safety engaged, reholster, right? I'll see people a lot. They'll go to the range, load up their magazine, put it in there, rack it on in there, turn off their safety, boom, 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 put some more in there and put it back in, boom, 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 you know, repeat. They get done, they load it up, and they turn their safety back on. And I don't want to say I promise you, but I can almost assure you that if you do not make practicing with this manual safety, disengaging, re-engaging, disengaging, re-engaging, if you don't practice doing that, you will forget when it's time, if you ever need it. So practice with this manual safety. Get in there, get on that and practice with it if you carry one with a manual safety. The little peephole through here, if you have a chambered round, you'll be able to see the casing right here. So if you have like more of a, you know, brass, or if you see like more of a polished one, you'll be able to see it kind of shining through there. So, you know, you got some people that do that cool press check. But that's a way you can not have to do that press check. Another neat feature with this specific gun is with my manual safety engaged, I can still rack my slide. And for the people who want that manual safety, here's the reason why that's important. So if I'm going to clear this gun, I'm going to empty this gun out, right? Always start by taking your magazine out. So if I have other ammunition in here, take that away, right? And then I still have one in the chamber, right? So my manual safety is engaged. So even if I'm new and I'm like, I can't press the trigger because my manual safety is engaged. So that's good. But make sure your finger's away from there so you don't let that happen anyways. But even with that manual safety engaged on this model, I can still rack my slide all the way to the rear and clear it, right? So some guns, if the manual safety is engaged, you can't rack your slide. So when you're looking at a gun in a gun store, you know, find out those features. Make sure it works for you, because like on a 1911, you know, that safety locks out the slide. So the most vulnerable that gun becomes at that point is when I remove my magazine and I need to clear that gun on the 1911. I have to turn off that safety and then rack it to the rear. So if I'm an idiot and I press the trigger at that point, I can cause a negligent discharge on there. This gun will help, this type of gun right here, will help minimize the opportunity for that, because I can still work that slide with my manual safety engaged. Another thing that's kind of cool about that is, you know, when I'm loading it up, if I'm getting the, you know, first one going to carry that day, I can put my magazine in there, I can rack it back, I can, you know, load it on in there. My manual safety stayed on the entire time, and then loaded my last round and then put it in there, never have taken it off safe, put it right back into my holster. So that is a great feature. For those of you new to firearms, I'll talk to you for a couple of minutes. Those of you that have more seasoned to firearms, always remember, one, be kind to those people who are learning, because you didn't know stuff at one time too, and somebody had to help teach you, or you went and learned on a video or whatever, right? So some things to look at when you pick up a gun, you know, the Shield 40 and the Shield 9 looked very similar. So you really, kind of the quickest way to tell is you'd see a 40 or you'd see a 9, right? They almost look the same. I've seen people pick up one thinking it was the other. And then on the barrel part of this gun, the chamber up here, we'll see it says the caliber, so that is a 9mm. If you're ever not sure, you know, just ask somebody. Make sure you ask somebody reputable. But some people get really worried about being able to rack this slide back, right? So they do make a Shield EZ, which is, man, you can take like almost 2 fingers and just run that thing like butter. It is a great gun. It has a grip safety right here. Some people get messed up on that. You know, that's, hopefully I'll get one of those. Anybody want to send me one? Go ahead, to do a little review on. But another thing too is just work with a gun. They make some things that you can actually put around the back of the gun. I think you can get them on Amazon. I'll try to link one in the video, which sort of clamps on, gives you more area to grip and pull. Only thing is, don't become reliant on that, because you probably won't have that device outside of the range. And if you're working your gun, then you might need to know how to do these things. But on a gun like this, so we'll talk about your magazine for a second. This area right here that holds the rounds is called the follower. And you'll see you have this little lip right here on the follower of this gun. And what that lip is designed to do is it's designed to help push up on the inside of this slide lock system right here, right? So sometimes people are like, oh, I can't do this. So if you take an empty magazine and I put my empty magazine in there and I just pull back, it's going to lock itself, which is really, really cool. I don't have to worry about trying to engage that slide lock. I should be practicing trying to manually engage that slide lock, but if I have a empty magazine and I put it in there, it'll help. If I pull back again, it's not going to release. Now, if I take my magazine out, or if I put even one round in the magazine, which will end up pushing this follower down, then when I put it back in, there's nothing that'll be holding the little catch inside of there anymore to push that slide lock up, right? So if I put a loaded mag all the way in there, or if I even take that out, all I have to do is pull a little bit to the rear. Sorry to bump that camera, guys. That was my bad. Right, just pull a little bit to the rear and let it go, and it's ready. It'll be hot. Boom, 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 boom. So another thing, they do make, I'm going to clear this again, right? They do make models of these where it will not fire if the magazine is not in there. Not every model is like that. So don't go thinking you have that one, because again, we're clear and empty, no mags in there. I have my safety on, I turn it off, boom, I can still press the trigger. I don't really care for the ones that have it designed to where I can't fire it without the magazine, but if that's what you like, that's your thing, that's cool, bro, you do you. It does not have an accessory rail. This one is not drilled for an optic, and new ones have that. You know, they already sometimes have a cut here for your light. They have some little rails for your cool little lights that you want to do. I think I said light for your optic here, right? Probably one thing I do encourage are night sights. These are not night sights, but it's up to you. So again, the M&P Shield, nice little gun here. I don't have huge hands. You can see that fits right in my hand. This gun is a nice gun to shoot, right? Smith & Wesson is a great firearm manufacturer. They have a lot of good things. I hope to get my hands on them in the future and show you some of the other things that they have. But the M&P Shield, the M&P Shield Plus, the Performance Center Shields, the Shields EZs, are all great guns to have for a concealed carry that also are fun guns to go to the range, poop, 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 and hit a couple of rounds with. So let me know what you think. Do you have the M&P Shield? Do you carry it? Did you used to carry it? What did you replace it with? What did you replace when you started carrying the Shield? Do you have the option with the manual safety, without the manual safety? Did you get a cool slide back plate for this? Tongue-tied this morning, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.